into advanced physics, science, fiction, fantasy, environment, spirituality, and human health and well being. It is a club by geeks for geeks with a mission to make this world a better place through science and communication. So, we have, I would like to ask our two guests to one by one introduce themselves. First, we have Toastmaster Rahma Unib. I would like you to please introduce yourself. Since you will have your introduction in your keynote speech as well, but still we want.
Okay. Okay. So I have been part of Toastmasters for a while, but currently I've been out of it because of family commitments and having a little kid in the picture. So I really enjoy public speaking. It's been something that's helped me in my career. It's been something that has come full circle for me. And I'm just excited to touch base somehow. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rahma. We all know that you've been a part of Karachi Toastmasters. Your family is a part of Karachi Toastmasters Club, and they played a pivotal role in building up that club. I remember Toastmaster Sahar, DTM Unib, and you yourself. You played a great part in. You guys are one of those people which who really inspired me a lot. So I remember I've attended the first meeting of Karachi Toastmasters Club, and DTM Munib was delivering one of his inspiring speeches, and it was quite inspiring and quite impressive, I must say. So, Toastmaster Aman Nadeem, we would love to have your brief introduction. Toastmaster Aman, are you with us?
Yes.
Yeah, we would love to have your brief introduction, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aman. I am currently serving as the president of Say Global Toastmasters Club, and I am working as a software engineer by profession. Yes, brief introduction. Thank you so much.
So you are a geek, mashallah. We would love to have you more in our Quantum Leap Toastmasters Club. So with that, it's now time to hand over the charge to the Toastmaster of the day. He is uh, one of the pillar of District 122, served many positions at district level and club level as well. And he is, mashallah, 6 times distinguished Toastmaster. Please, with a huge round of applause, let's welcome our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Talha bin Hamid. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. And today's, of course, we'll have a keynote on mental health. And today, our theme also is it's okay to not be okay, right? Is that how you say it, Toastmaster Rama? Is that precisely how? Yeah, because I was getting confused because between it's okay to be not okay or it's okay not to be okay.
I think it's okay not to be okay.
Okay, so so obviously I'm not okay. Of course, mental health, everyone, is a very big issue these days. I would say it has been a big issue ever since humanity came into existence, but we've gotten more conscious of it in the recent years. And it has been highlighted, and sometimes, and Toastmaster Rama, correct me if I'm wrong, in some cases, people abuse it to escape responsibility. There have been countless memes and YouTube videos where and sorry to the youngsters out there, but they're showing stereotypical Gen Zs. They're being told their duties on a job, and the Gen Zer is actually breathing into a bag. Oh, I got triggered. You're not supposed to use words. These are not like, it's the opposite of a safe word. Work, responsibility, those are considered offensive and potentially a microaggression. So, of course, that's satirical, of course. Toastmaster Rama. Please don't think it was real, but it also illustrates very neatly the discourse around mental health. The older generation seems to think that the need to preserve and safeguard mental health is just another scapegoat for the youngsters to hide behind. Whereas the youngsters, the Gen Zers, they really, really value this. And I believe, in my life at least, I've seen that this is the first generation that puts their mental health and well-being first. And I believe that's the way it should be. This is something we should be learning from them rather than ridiculing them for it. Of course, whenever there is something that is studied, that is used, there are abusers. But then abusers are there in every generation, right? And those abusers should not be allowed to dictate the narrative around mental health. So before we move on into the meeting, it is my duty to first introduce the segments and the role players. The role players are, I will act as the timer, whereas Toastmaster Imran Rana will be the grammarian and word master. Toastmaster Imran, would you like to introduce your book?
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a language evaluator, it's more like a grammarian role. I will be noting down some good usages of grammar and also the incorrect use of grammar. And in the end, I will present my report uh, about the incorrect use. Those who have used incorrect grammar, I'll inform them how to make it what was the correct usage of grammar. Plus, today's word of the day is imperfection. Imperfection means not perfect. As today's theme is more about okay not to be okay, so not to be perfect, so it's more like that. So try to use the word of the day as much as possible during your speeches. And in the end, I'll present the report of word of the day as well. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran. And of course, when we have Brahma amongst us, it brings back a flood of men. And it would seem weird to you that someone who appears so young could actually be a mentor to both of the old codgers sitting here, myself and Toastmaster Imran Rana. But that is the case. When I joined Karachi Toastmasters Club, for the first few months, of course, I was trying my best to escape attending meetings and doing speeches. I joined in June 2016 and delivered my icebreaker in January 2017. In the June of that year, I was selected, or rather nominated, as the VP Public Relations. Whereas the VP Education was a certain someone named Toastmaster Rama. And in July of that year, I think, Toastmaster Rama volunteered to step aside from the position of VP Education. And the executive committee, she recommended my name for some strange reason for the post of VP Education. And the executive committee approved it. So thanks to her, I got my first excom position. That was the VP VPR turned into VP Education. Now you know that VP Education is in most cases a natural successor to the president. And that's how I got elected president the next year and went on then to preside over the club for 1 year. The club grew to twice its size during that year. And that was one of the reasons that I was nominated as the first club pro director for District 122. Sameer Saab, DTM Sameer, he just said very casually, Talha, you just need to do for the district what you did for Karachi Toastmasters. But he forgot a few tiny facts. First of all, it was barely my second year or third year into Toastmasters. And secondly, we didn't have people like Rama Uneeb and Dr. Uneeb and Dr. Sahar Uneeb and DTM Sameer in the district setup. They were there with the Karachi Toastmasters Club, and that all those reasons combined resulted in the club's phenomenal growth. So one can say that it was Toastmaster Rahma Uneeb unleashed this monster upon the Toastmasters community. Yes, I'm not exaggerating here, because had I not become president Toastmaster after serving as VP Education, even then I was not confident that I could serve as president. Serving that presidency led to my selection as a club group director, and so on and so forth. So I need to be thankful to you for your guidance during those initial months, and for your unrelenting positivity and for your contribution to the club, to KTC and Kolachi subsequent as well. And very few people would know it, but Toastmaster Rahma Uneeb is so much of a Toastmaster that she is the younger sister of a Toastmaster, and she's the daughter of a Toastmaster, and her mother is also almost a Toastmaster. But you know what? Her sister, who was a Toastmaster, presided over the delivery of a pride and joy of a Toastmasters couple a few months ago. So she was involved with that. So we could say that, Toastmaster Emma, no matter how much you run away from Toastmasters, you will keep encountering Toastmasters everywhere you go. Who would have thought that, DTM Saad and Toastmasters Zara's baby would be delivered with input from none other than your sister, Toastmaster Sahar. Oh, you didn't know that? My God! Wow! So, and let me, ladies and gentlemen, what makes it doubly surprising is, or doubly serendipitous, is that DTM Saad and Toastmasters Zahra met in this very club and decided to tie the knot. Yes. And when the time came for the delivery, it just so happened that Toastmaster Sahar Uneeb had returned. By that time, as well spending several years in the United States, she'd come to practice in Aga Khan. So yeah, that is a real life tall tale if I ever saw one. But it is the entire truth. So today we are going, first of all, let me also recognize our valuable guests, Toastmaster Shahzad, President of Karachi Toastmasters Club, and Toastmaster Aisha Lodi from Worldwide's Advanced Toastmasters. So we now move on to our keynote, and our keynote is, of course, its title is What Goes On in the Human Mind? Stress, anxiety, and panic 101. What goes on in the human mind? And it will be delivered by Toastmaster Rahma Uneeb, who is actually a psychology major from IBA, certified hypnotherapist, certified EMDR practitioner, certified clinical trauma specialist, NLP practitioner, and traditionally integrated Islamic psychotherapy. People also call me certified but certainly not in terms of education. So, Toastmaster Rahma, before we embark on the journey of mental health with you, would you like to explain what is traditionally integrated Islamic psychotherapy?
Sure. Thank you, DTM Tala. So there have been a lot of evolving fields in the world of psychology, and one of them has been Islamic psychotherapy. Also, making sure if everyone can hear me properly.
Yes.
Because I've just put some white noise behind to make sure there's no cross circulation. I do that with my client sessions as well. So, Islamic psychotherapy is a field where professionals who were interested or psychotherapists or psychiatrists and also had interests and education in the Islamic world decided that there was so much overlap. What would be the equation or what would be the way to get them together? You might have heard about lots of people saying, oh, if you read Quran, that means that, you don't have to, your mental health issues would go away. But this wave of Islamic psychotherapy was trying to reconcile because despite being religious, a lot of people were still coming up with symptoms that were, anxiety, depression. So where was the, because Western psychology was focusing on the mind and the brain and looking at it as in very physiological terms. So the conversation around the soul had completely gotten out of the equation. And now we have this new wave of therapy where the soul is coming into the picture. Islamic terms are being used. And we look at things from a holistic lens in terms of, okay, if something has gone wrong, then the mind, the body, the qalb, in Islamic psychotherapy terms, and the nafs. These are the different, sort of ailments or different organs or bodies that are playing in that. So this particular, so then there are different forms of psychotherapy within that world, and this one is traditionally integrated Islamic psychotherapy. It was started by Khalil Center, which is in the US. It is still fairly new, but they do 3 parts. So I've done the first one, and it just sort of grounds you into their theory.
Wow. That is the first time I'm hearing of it, Toastmaster now. So thank you for introducing us to that. So now, without further ado, and when people say without further ado, when they've already made too much of it. So without further ado, we will start the keynote now. Everybody, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Rama Puneet. Stress, Anxiety and Panic 101. Stress, Anxiety and Panic 101. Toastmaster Rahma Puneet. It will be a 35-minute keynote followed by 10 minutes of Q&A. Over to you, Toastmaster.
You can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to today's keynote speech. I don't think any of us over here can say that we have never experienced any of these terms, stress, anxiety, and panic. In fact, I would like for us to, through a show of hands, if there's any alien in this room that has never experienced stress, anxiety, or panic, please raise your hand. Just want to see if there's anyone here who would say that, no, we have not experienced this. We are free of being human. We are free of difficult emotions. And in fact, the contrary is true. Depending on what your life circumstances are, you might have experienced all forms or all versions of these and battling with them. So today is about how we understand this, reframe it. What are the tools that we can use to actually overcome it? Now, a little bit about my introduction. I think DTM Talha has introduced me quite well. I'll just go into a little bit of what my focus is and what brought me into this profession, because Toastmaster has been a big part of that equation, a big part of why I've been able to speak about my experiences. Because before I actually went into the whole psychology profession, I was a Toastmaster. So just bringing that into the picture, that it has really, really helped me, because there are other professionals out there who don't really think of public speaking as a career, don't put themselves out there. That's not their cup of tea. And I was able to use everything that I was learning and articulate it because I was already in the field of Toastmasters. So psychology was something that I was learning on the sidelines because I had seen that in my generation, it was a big thing. Anxiety was being diagnosed here, left, right, and center. I had my own experiences with mental health, and I was eager to get to the bottom of what does it take to get better, to live well. At first, it was about recovering, and then it became about, okay, what do we do from here? How do we live a good life, a quote unquote good life? So then things just started adding on. One interest led to another. I got really deep into the world of psychology, and now there are different areas that I focus on, but mainly I like to focus on in Pakistani South Asian context. How does trauma, generational trauma, come to the surface? How do we actually understand some of the issues that are very common in our society? Because the issues that we as South Asians face are very specific. So if you're talking about like boundaries, if you're talking about people pleasing, if you're talking about stress, in a South Asian context, it's not the same as in a Western context. So we have to bring those cultural layers into account. This is some of the pictures, some of the work that I do. I also do lives on Instagram. And so what I'm trying to bring into this sort of conversation is that Toastmasters has been that bridge for me to bring the two worlds together. So before we go even deeper, I want us to, in the chat, and if you don't feel comfortable talking about this in the chat, you can personally acknowledge to yourself or write it down. Acknowledge or write down what is your biggest stress right now. And you are free to, if anyone feels comfortable sharing in this setting, which I will understand if you're not, feel free to turn your mic on and add to the conversation. What would you say even if you just hint at it, that should work. I'm not able to see the chat for some reason. Okay. Doing right by family. Doing right by family. Okay. See, I mean, you can be that, like now I can question, I don't know exactly what DT Antala means by this, but it's enough that it's given his answer to the world. Do you want to add something to this? Toastmaster Tala?
If I may, it means that, serving them doing right by them in terms of being there, in terms of their financial needs, that's the biggest stress, both in terms of emotional needs and, financial needs for my family.
Okay. Anyone else? It feels like there's only one brave soul who is willing to admit. I would also like, because you can personally message me, and I will just anonymously share your answer with everyone else that would be okay as well. So not doing what I want to do. So then we have stressors on a family level. We have personal stressors, this war that we have within ourselves. Are we really fulfilling our potential? Are we choosing the paths that we want to choose. And this war is going to be present at different stages of our life in different ways. And that can cause a lot of stress. What else? I can also share my own if it would make people more vulnerable. Stress after scrolling, work-related stress. Work-related stress, very understandable. What is stress after scrolling? I'm a bit confused. So who has written stressed after scrolling? Means doom scrolling. So, but doom scrolling happens because you are avoiding something, right? So like what happens before the doom scrolling to actually make that a habit? Also, Janzev wants to add something. I think share some stressors with the world. Do you want to add in?
Yes, I wanted to, express that missing the timelines related in your work setting. That's the most important triggering point for me, because in the manufacturing setup where I belong, so there are so many timelines which are dependent on other people's performance. So that is the most important triggering point for me. So, and I feel that I belong to all three stages, like stress, anxiety, and panic. So I'm keen to learn how to cope it.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think what I would also ask you, Janzev, is why is meeting those goals important for you? Meeting those milestones.
Because it is my job. It is my job to get everything, delivered on time and performed on time. So that's part of my job, and that is mainly dependent on other people's performance. So, and a lot of time in our culture, people have excuses of, missing the timelines. They have got so many lame excuses, and that we have to deal with it. And certain times I lose my sleep due to these failures, and which leads to, panic and anxiety, in my understanding.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and when we're reading this, sometimes it seems like one stress is bigger than the other, but something can be very big for someone and not that big for someone else because of different priorities, different stages of life, different experiences. And that is absolutely a valid stressor. But what I'm trying to get at is what is the importance that you're attaching to this? So what does it mean to, and it is a keynote speech, but through Janzev, we are able to get to how we can, get to the bottom of our stressors. What does it mean for you to perform well at work? Does it mean you're a good partner? Does it mean you're doing well in life? Does it mean you're successful? Because you said, you don't want to feel like a failure.
Probably reputation.
Okay.
Because if I miss my timelines, it will become a bad thing on my reputation that I'm not a good manager. I'm not a good project in charge. So probably that's something which I feel, and it can be different for different people.
Different people.
Yeah.
And okay, thank you, Janzev. I don't want to put you on the spot. I think if you were in a one-on-one session, I might even ask you why, like keep asking you why until we get to the bottom of, things. That's an exercise that we do as well. So other people are sharing their stressors now. Stress due to higher than preferred risk aversion. Wow, that's so see, because of different personality types, because of different experiences, for example, if you're introverted, you might not risk a conversation every so often because that is something that you perhaps don't prioritize. So stress can be very different for different people, and risk aversion can happen in different ways, right? So for example, I can label things as risk that other people might not label as risk. So such a diversity of experiences. And if I can add to what my stressors would be at this moment, I think At some point it was, oh, I need to get married. Oh, will I ever be able to raise a child? How will that happen? At some point it was, oh, I want to, get into the profession and field and make an impact. And now it's just so complex and so layered. And if I were to sort of vocalize what the stressors are, I would just tell you that it's just stress in multiple levels. And I don't even know how to start talking about it. So that is how complicated life can get, the things that we are actually not even able to put in this chat. And it will depend on a spectrum. So if you look at this spectrum, there's healthy, then there's coping, then we're at a point where we're in difficulties, and then we get to the point where we are ill. So we will be on the spectrum, could be on the spectrum at different points of our life. We might vary. So sometimes we will in 1 year we could be labeled with an illness, with a mental illness, and then actually find our way to coping. I don't think anyone ever falls into the healthy category, but I wish that that's something that we find ourselves doing. But that's a spectrum that we need to keep in mind. So let's unpack these terms, because everyone uses stress, anxiety, panic very interchangeably, and there is a little bit of a difference. Stress is a term that is very generic. It is used for things that have been described here. It is used for real life pressures. Usually when that short-term issue vanishes, let's say you've met the deadline, you have met the needs, you have, doom scrolled, you have done all of that, you feel better. You feel your sort of body resets to a normal level. But when that becomes an illness is that the threat is not necessarily on the horizon anymore, but it has become a habit for us to stay in that stress mode. That is when it turns into illness. That is when anxiety enters the picture. Now, a lot of us have been exposed to stress for so long that we do start developing symptoms of anxiety. We do become restless. We're not able to identify, but we are using terms like in South Asian cultures, ghabrat, becheni, not being able to sleep at night, bodily pains, even things like cancer, diabetes, and lots of autoimmune illnesses have been linked to stress. So anxiety then becomes that stress which has perhaps not been dealt with, or that has been mixed with genetic factors. And now we are dealing with a mental health issue. Stress is also a mental health issue, but you're getting the difference. Now, panic is a little bit different from anxiety in the sense that if you see someone having a panic attack, they are visibly in distress. It will feel like you are about to die. It will feel like you're sweating. Even people who've had this experience might mistake it for a heart attack. And anxiety can manifest sometimes in ways that is physically visible as well, but may not necessarily be visible. A lot of you might look greatly calm on the surface, but might actually be going through a lot of anxiety. So I want for us to, through a show of hands, share how many of you relate to the term anxiety. Could be at any time in your life, could be just something about it resonates with you. Any show of hands, anyone wants to bravely admit their life problems? Everyone seems like they're only stressed and no anxiety. And feel free to add in your thoughts. Okay, so we have some anxious anxiety admitters, people who admit that they are anxious. Another difference with anxiety and stress is that there is a threat, the stressor is gone, you're still stressed. And with panic, it's like feeling completely out of control. And also sometimes you then become scared of the panic attack itself. So that's a little bit of the difference between these conditions. And we'll go into the question answers as well. So if you have any questions about what it looks like, that would be something that you are feel free to bring in. The numbers say that despite the fact that I got only 1 thumbs up, it seems that anxiety and depression is on the rise. People are reporting higher stress levels. Women are more likely to report stress levels. Lower income groups are more likely to show anxiety symptoms. But what happens is the reason why no one talks about this is because there's no language, number one. Number two, there are misconceptions about, oh, women, because are able to vocalize and verbalize their issues quite well. They're able to seek help much quicker than men. Oftentimes, anxiety and depression flies under the radar for men. And reports have shown that for men, bodily symptoms like physical pains is how depression shows up, and it's very different for how it shows up for women. So we cannot sometimes even take these figures. The figures might be even higher. And now I want you to picture with me that there is a lion in this room right now. What is your response? What will be your first response? And I've done this exercise so many times, and some people will say, I'm going to make it a friend. I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to do this. I am telling you to close your eyes and visualize there is a real lion in the room. What is your knee-jerk response? So share with me in the chat, what will you do? What is going to be your reaction? Let's see. I will freeze. Okay. So it seems that, is this Toastmaster Imran? Who's going to freeze? Oh, it's just DTM. So please do not rely on DTM Talha to save you. He is going to freeze. So who else? What else? What other responses do we have? I will climb the fence. Okay, I don't know where the fence came from, but we can climb the fence. So it means you will run. You will run from the situation. So cannot rely on Toastmaster Jazib either. Try and get out of the room. Once again, cannot rely on Toastmaster Aisha because she is also trying to get out of the room. We have no brave souls over here who will actually protect us from this lion.
Okay, I will remain calm.
Wow.
Since we have seen, it's because we've seen a lot in National Geographic channel, so I think I will remain calm.
Yeah, of course. Since having a lion in the room is exactly the same as being seen on TV. Great.
Of course, of course. I'm sure this is Toastmaster Imran will be the one who will stay calm and protect all of the Toastmasters here. Okay, so freeze, flight, an illusion of calmness. I missed what you were saying. Toastmaster Aisha, I was just saying that since you will run away from the lion, you will not be able to save anyone, just like Toastmaster Tala and Toastmaster Jazib. But Toastmaster Imran will stay calm because he's seen National Geographic, so he will protect us all. So the point of doing this was to show you that this is what is called a trauma response. Now, a trauma response, the lion was in my room only. Oh, so Toastmaster Aisha, if there were other people, would you respond differently? If there were other people? Not sure. So it's very difficult to visualize. And these responses do not happen like Toastmaster Imran is visualizing, because they happen in a very knee-jerk way. Our body responds in the way that it knows how. So I want you to think about how you have responded to traumatic or shocking situations in your life, because that is your default. For example, let me give you an example. When I started driving, in the beginning, I had my first accident. It was not a big accident. Someone hit the car from behind, and I went. A woman came outside. She was angry on my behalf. I went outside of the car. I was completely frozen. I didn't know what to do. And the man who had hit my car said, as if he had forgiven me for hitting my car. So in that situation, I did not have the capacity to fight. I didn't know what to do. I went, sat down, went back home, and never thought about it again. However, now, if the same thing happens, I believe I will have different set of responses. They might be staying calm, they might be fighting, there might be a range of responses. So let's go over the main responses. Now, Aisha is going to tell everyone to get out. So it seems that for some of you, if you were the only person, your response would be to get out. But if other people were involved, then your trauma or threat response would be very noble, which is to stay calm or to tell everyone to get out. And that could or could not be the case, but it depends on what gets triggered in that moment. So what I'm trying to say is these are the responses that naturally will get triggered for you in any traumatic situation. Being mindful of what your default is. What do you default to? And then being able to move out of it and being able to use that rational part of the brain, which Toastmaster Imran has been able to do with National Geographic and staying calm, because there are no lions in our lives at the moment. They're metaphorical lions. They seem like they're the end of the world. They seem like they will eat us up. They seem like they will finish everything off. But once our logical brain comes into the picture, actually we have a lot more autonomy over our situation than we realize. And those are the tools we're going to unpack in a minute. I'm just being mindful of time. I believe we started, how much time would you say has elapsed since we started? I think 20 minutes?
You have 35 minutes. We are on the 23rd minutes. So
Excellent.
you still have 12 minutes to go.
Excellent, excellent. So these are some of the barriers. Some of these I can sense here. We don't like talking about it. We mask, we deny, we avoid. We don't have self-awareness. We don't have help. We don't know who to go to. But what are some things that could help? Let's talk about that, because I think here everyone is acknowledging that there is an issue. There could be an issue. Stressors are there. I can sense that there is no resistance to this idea. But maybe some of the tools you've also even tried, but this is perhaps where you get stuck. Now, there are so many tools out there. I could talk about this for like days and days. But I would invite you to get into this conversation and give me some of your best tools for dealing with stress, anxiety, or panic. Because my toolkit will work for me. Your toolkit will work for you. So what is your toolkit? What is your best tool? Let's learn from each other that helps you with your stress, anxiety, or panic.
So I try to distract myself with some other work.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I get stressed about one thing, I try to switch to another thing, get that done, and then come back to the one I'm stressed. So usually that works.
Usually that works. Excellent. Okay, so distraction. But the way you described it, it sounds less like distraction and more, it sounds very helpful, I think.
Yeah, it's not distraction because since I'm primarily anxious and stressed about work, right? So it's my habit to work on several things simultaneously, which I think all of us have to do, right? So if I get stuck and if I get anxious about something, I try to get something else done so that it gives me that little dopamine boost, right? So then I can come back to the original cause of stress, and sometimes that helps.
So what you're describing is actually a great coping tool. Because when we talk about distraction, it can be a type of masking, numbing, but what you're saying is get yourself out of that situation, out of that sort of stressor, out of that environment, and then come back with fresh eyes, come back with a different perspective, come back with a different energy. That's a great coping mechanism. Um, for example, if I give you an example, my biggest stress right now is my toddler. Um, who is a handful. And so the only way sometimes I feel like I can escape that stress is to get out of the situation, and to get a break for myself and then come back and then realize that, okay, it's not the end of the world. I will survive another day of this and then move forward. So any other coping tools that we can learn from all of you wise Toastmasters? I'm sure Toastmaster Imran seems to. I think humor is one thing that Toastmaster Imran uses for coping. Would you say that is true?
I usually watch Netflix when there is a
Okay.
stress.
So sort of a distraction, but also sometimes we need the distraction.
This is the, yeah.
Okay, how about others? What are your ways of coping? Some of them will not be healthy, so we might not be admitting over here. Some of them will be healthy. Some of them we're working on. Yes, Chandra.
Uh, it depends on the nature of
Sure.
the trigger or the situation. So if it is not too critical, then I follow the breathing exercise which we hear, like take a deep breath
Excellent.
and
Wow.
stay focused and stay calm. But in the graver issues, I lose it. I lose it. I forget taking deep breaths, and probably I resolve to taking anti-stressors. But because we get to learn these techniques, but it depends. Like when you are in that particular situation, I most of the
Oh,
times forget everything.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the situation with me. Yeah.
Amazing. I think you touched upon a great point, which is that it's great to have these to have this toolkit, but there's a difference that you've drawn that a lot of people do. There are short-term or stressors that are manageable, and then there's stressors that we feel overwhelmed with. And so the solution will vary. You can use some of these things like Netflix, taking a break, doing breathing techniques, and you will get stuck at the things that keep repeating, the patterns that keep repeating. And that is where you will benefit from tools like these. Therapy, coaching, journaling. At some point, you might need medication. If you feel like you are being, especially if you are struggling with panic or with symptoms that feel like they're not being able to be controlled or contained, these are some of the tools that you can use to process some of the patterns. For example, if we have a pattern of someone makes us feel insulted and we scream back at them, that says something about our childhood. It could say something about experiences that we've had. It could say something about what gets triggered for us. And we could unpack that on our own. We could do different exercises, but it'll be nice if we have someone else who we can reflect with, talk to, figure things out. ChatGPT is there's a lot of debate around this, but a lot of people are using ChatGPT for therapy as well. Yes, Jazzy.
Sometimes I take a long walk in my office as well. Sometimes at the time of,
Absolutely.
during my work,
Absolutely.
if I face any challenge, any big issue, so I get up from my seat, get out of my room, and take a walking thing. So it clears my mind.
Excellent. Excellent. I think walking is great. And these are things that you probably would have heard, go out in nature, have a walk, change your place, movement. And something that I would also add is how many of you feel like you are, because you are Toastmasters, because I feel like you're intellectual. So a raise of hand, how many of you think you get in your head? So get stuck in your head, start thinking, overthinking, intellectualizing this. Okay, everyone, most of the people here. So then the toolkit that I would tell you is to use your body. So it is not to think, overthink, not to, sometimes journaling will help, but sometimes you'll just be going in the same loop. And for me, at this point, I've done so much therapy. I've done so much therapy that I have stopped because now I need to connect with my body. So I just do yoga. I make candles. I focus on working with things that help me engage with my senses. So maybe that's something that might benefit you all. So we're going to do one technique today. We have how many minutes, Toastmaster Tala? 5? 5 minutes? Okay. So we have a choice. We could do question answers, or I could give you one thing to do or take away. What would you like to choose?
So the question answers could be shared in the chat and we'll send it to you through WhatsApp, and the exercise would do.
Work better. Okay. So I want us to do emotional freedom tapping. It's something that I do with everyone. The research says that it reduces stress by 43%. And for people who get really in their head, it works really well. How many of you have experienced some form of EFT tapping? Familiar with it? Never? No. Great. So basically, there are points that we tap. You can see this person and you can see the points. Tapping this, the science says that you rewire your neural pathways. We will simultaneously, while we're tapping, repeat negative statements, discharge that energy from the body, and then we're going to rewire those neural patterns by repeating the opposite. So I want you to quickly, in the chat, share 0 to 10, your stress level, 10 being like a lot and 0 being less, so that we have a baseline to check on. Okay. So I'm seeing all of these numbers, 6, 7, 5, that's the baseline. 9, okay. So we are going to tap on these points. You'll follow along with me. We will repeat negative statements. Everything negative that you're feeling, I will say some things. You can add other things, while your mic is muted, and tap along. So there is a point here, which makes you look at like a monkey. So tapping here and repeating all this stress that I feel. Then here, above your eyebrow, I release all negativity. Here, so this would be your outer eye, all burdens that are weighing me down. Under your eye, all emotions that I cannot cope with. Under your nose, all issues that seem too big. Under your mouth, anything and everything that is holding me down. Keep tapping under your collarbone. Everything, and add any negative statement that you're feeling. Any emotion that you're feeling. Any thought. And keep tapping while you're repeating this. It's okay if there's a red light. We will take this exercise to the end. And here, this is below the armpit. All this anxiety, panic, and stress. and letting yourself feel the release in your body. Okay. Now I want us to repeat the opposite. So repeat this thing and new statements, positive statements. Okay. I am calm. Above your eyebrow, I am confident. Side of the eye, I feel on top of the world. Under your eye, I have all the solutions I need. Under your nose, I feel overjoyed. Under your lips, I feel energized. I am living my best life. And now add any statement. Could be you wanting to be more grateful, you wanting to be more productive. Keep tapping on your favorite point. You might have a point that you feel like is really helping you. And you can do this exercise on your own as well. So if you can just, before we wrap up, give me a number now. What would your number be for the baseline? Jazeb, Aisha, and everyone actually. What's your number now? 3. So there has been a reduction. I have a gut feeling Jazeb will say the same number, but let's see. No? Okay, good. It's reduced by 2 pounds. We did something. Excellent. Aman went to 2. From what? From 5. Excellent. So this really worked for everyone. So please, please, please practice this on your own. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them however Toastmaster Imran was suggesting. I can keep answering on this chat while I'm here. And it was really nice having you guys and just talking through these things that we are going on a daily basis.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rama. I don't know whether it was black magic or sorcery. And, we are by nature skeptics. So we start by not really believing in the positive effects. And it's not because we doubt the process, we doubt ourselves to be able to be healed by anything such as this. It's not, but despite all that, this is the first time that I've experienced such a thing, because whenever someone suggests a procedure like this, the first thing they say is that you need to believe in it first. But there was no such requirement from your side. So that was really amazing. I don't know how or why, but I think we were all truthful when we answered. The stress has decreased. And what was even more revealing to me is Toastmaster Jazeb's comments and his responses, because he never ever comes across as stressed. And so this session allowed him and all of us, in fact, to put ourselves out there and to unleash our real anxieties. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Rama. There's a lot to unpack. It is a safe bet that we keep thinking about this for the next few days. So all I can say right now is thank you. And I'll ask our honored audience members to put their comments in the chat about your keynote as well. And the questions, if you have any, can follow later. So once again, thank you so much. I think Toastmaster Rama, it fits so beautifully with the theme that it's okay not to be okay. And this, even though I kept telling myself that itself created an anxiety, that what is the correct order of words? it is, Imran can testify. I put down one theme first and then asked him to change it. So even these little things, and ultimately now I realize that whether it's the theme is it's okay to not be okay or it's okay not to be okay, both mean the same thing, right? So why be so pedantic about it? So thank you so much, Toastmaster Rama. And now we move on to the next segment of the meeting, which is our geek of the week. Wait,
Okay, Geek of the Week is a little late.
it's
We
not there.
may
Okay.
shift to a prepared speech.
We'll move to the prepared speech, which will be by myself. Our lead evaluator is Toastmaster Imran Rana, so I invite him to lead the session.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today we have a prepared speaker, and he is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, and he will be going to deliver his project from Presentation Mastery. It's level 3 project. Connect with the audience. Connect with the audience. Yeah. The speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, before moving on, let me confirm my modular evaluator. So, Toastmaster Shazib, could you, as previous, we have Iram Rizvi with us as auditory. DTM Iram, are you with us?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm here, but I can see quite seasoned Toastmasters here, so you can give my part to Toastmaster Noreen or Toastmaster Jahazeb if you see.
Noreen is also a part of the modular evaluator. If
And
you
what about
could,
Toastmaster Jahazeb?
yes, I am asking him to be one of the modular evaluator because two of the modular evaluator is absent.
Okay, then I'm
Has-
fine. So, but if there is anyone else, I would like them to take.
Sure, but at the moment you are the
All
you're
right.
doing the auditory part. Thank you,
Okay.
Iram. Okay, so for visual, Noreen, Toastmaster Noreen, are you with us?
I am joining. I have joined the meeting, but actually I'm outside, so I won't be able to evaluate the speed. So that's an issue.
It's just the visual part.
Okay. I'm in the market. Okay. Everyone will enjoy the speech of Toastmaster Shazay. I'm okay with that. Fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Perhaps you can switch. Perhaps you can switch the modular evaluator. Again, up to you.
Okay, so Toastmaster Jahazeb, would you like to be the perceptible? Thank you so much. Okay, Toastmaster Rahma, you are also the Toastmaster. We would love to have you as one of the modular evaluator who would do structural and the language part. Toastmaster Rahma, is it possible for you? Toastmaster Rahma, are you with us? It seems like she is away. So, Aisha Lodi, would you like to be the structural and language evaluator? It's a 1 minute evaluation. In structural, we point out if the speech is in proper chronological order, that is proper opening, body, and conclusion. Perceptible means how you perceive the speech, right? Is it DTM Talha, could you please add something about the perceptible?
It's just about how the speech impacted you as a listener in terms of your perception of the speech and its message.
Okay, so Aman, are you with us? Oh, Aisha. Yes, Aisha. Aisha, is it possible?
Yes, I'll try my best. Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aisha. So once again, the auditory part will be done by DTM Iram. The visual part will be managed by Toastmaster Noreen Fatma. The perceptible part will be evaluated by Jahazib Shah, and the structural and the language part will be managed by Toastmaster Aisha Lodi. So, DTM Talha, uh, the new slavery, Toastmaster Talha, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. So I'll start the timer. I'm audible and visible, right? The alarm rang and I woke up, picked up my phone, and the alarm act actually asks me to solve a few arithmetic puzzles before it turns off. It was Fajr time. I said, there's still plenty of time left in Fajr. So let me solve these puzzles and go back to sleep. I had set up another alarm for 20 minutes later, and I relied on that to actually wake up and offer the prayer. And I went back blissfully to sleep, only to be awoken 5 minutes later, because in addition to that other alarm, it had a reminder feature. If the user is not active after the initial alarm, it rings again 5 minutes later. So I pulled myself out of bed, performed ablution and offered the prayer, and then went back to sleep. 1 hour later, the alarm rang again. This time, it was time to wake up for the day. After delaying it 3 times, I woke up, went to the washroom, washed myself, then picked up the phone. Went through all the WhatsApp messages that had come through the night, because the world never stops. There is morning somewhere, even if we are sleeping. So people, especially Toastmasters, never stop messaging. After taking care of that business, I responded to an email, checked out my work email, even though it is an off day, and then went down for breakfast. After that, picked it up again to play a word game, as well as watch some YouTube videos, and on the side, catch up on the day's news. 2 hours passed, just like that. Then I received some urgent messages once again on WhatsApp. Some business needed to be taken care of. It was now the afternoon, and I, after lunch, relaxed on the couch to read. Again, picked this up because all my books and magazines live here. I'd gotten through 2 pages when curiosity stopped me. I had to check out what had happened on WhatsApp over the past 30 minutes. And 1 hour later, I remembered that I was supposed to be reading a book. Ladies and gentlemen, that got me thinking. Who am I? Where is my free will? Everything I do, this machine is telling me. From waking up, to offering prayer, to eating, to playing, to relaxing, to educating myself, I'm not thinking anything on my own. Even when I was watching YouTube videos, those videos were the ones served up by the YouTube algorithm. And furthermore, many of those videos are AI generated. So it is machines talking to machines, and we are just pushing the button to consume that. Since when did the tools become more important than the work itself. Have you encountered a situation where you took your family to a wedding? You had to fuel your car, you had to get there, and then spend half an hour searching for parking, then paying for that parking, and making sure that the car was safe and secure. One time when I dropped my family in such a way, while walking back, we were mugged. We lost our belongings. Thankfully, they left the car keys. When we got back to the car, I thought we were just mugged. We suffered trauma. We suffered financial loss. And yet, this car is perfectly safe. Cars cannot be mugged. Cars cannot be traumatized. Cars cannot be damaged. Why? Because we take care more of them than we take care of humans. Never for a moment I thought whether my family is safe or not. Throughout that wedding, all my thoughts were revolving about the car. That when we come back, the car should be there. See what we are getting wrong, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody told us that phones are not tools. They are the center of our lives. The YouTubers told us that this phone is the best thing in the world and using it is a joy. Not using it for something, just using it. Similarly, automotive journalists told us that the car should be well designed. It should have this many interior features. It should be fun to drive. Even when we spend 90% of our driving time stuck in traffic where we are not driving at all. But no, the car should have a great sounding engine. It should have great cornering abilities. It should look amazing. Because the car, ladies and gentlemen, is far more important than the purpose it serves. We determine even each other's social status by the kind of car we drive. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. Since when did we lose the purpose of things and started valuing things more than their purpose? Once we are able to flip that equation, perhaps we will get our lives back on track. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, for such a wonderful speech. Before my evaluation, I would request my modular evaluators to present their feedbacks. Let me remind them that those feedbacks are for 1 minute. So for auditory part, I would request DTM Eram to please share her feedback.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, you are perfectly audible. My sincere apologies.
All right. So thank you very much, lead evaluator. DTM Talha bin Hamid, brilliant speech done. Vocal clarity was great. I did find very easy language to be understandable. Each and every word was very auditory. Am I audible? Because everyone is stuck. Can you hear me, see me? Great. My feedback to you, DTM Talha, is that, and that's more coming, expecting, of course, the seniority and seasonedness in the track of Toastmasters journey. Once you become a trainer in professional life and you're a mentor, we usually lose the vocal variety because then we speak as if we are training, especially when our speeches are based on that we want to give a message, we want something to drive out of it. So we forget that the variety has to come and the focus is a lot on the content and clarity. So my advice to you is that there were places where urgent message, news, There are places where the voice could have gone up and down, whereas I found that the focus was more on clarity. And that's something in the back of the mind of each trainer. So my feedback to you would be that it did serve the purpose of inspiring. However, we by choice or by force, we are asked to see some drama. So that was missing in the variety part. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DTM Iram, for such a valuable feedback. Now, I would like to request Toastmaster Noreen Fatma. Toastmaster Noreen, are you with us? Toastmaster Noreen, are you with us? Okay, for the perceptible part, let me request Toastmaster Janzeeb Shah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran. So perceptible evaluation wise, I'm completely moved out of this presentation, and I feel that it is a very important reminder for all of us to consider. We know these things, but whenever anyone presents and presents with personal story, that is more impactful. So it was captivating, it was moving, and it was truly, inspiring in a way that we get to the real purpose which DTM Tala wanted us to think about. So wonderfully done. Thank you so much, and excellent message.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jahazib. Okay, let me come again for the visual parts. If Toastmaster Noreen with us, she can uh, she can give her feedback about visuals. Toastmaster Noreen, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Great. Toastmaster Noreen, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran Rana, the lead evaluator. What a great speech delivered by DTM Talha. As always, it's always learning for us. As we talk about the visual component, we could see the first part that DTM Talha delivered speech in a standing mode, so he was clearly visible to us. And when we talk about the hand gestures, the body language, they were clearly aligned with the content he was sharing, especially when he talked about the cell phones. We could see the way he was using it, actually giving us the clear message to all the audience who were listening. However, there is room for improvement. I just wanted to add, if we could, I think the body language or the use of gestures or the use of visual aids could be reduced, because sometimes it also distract the audience as well. So in order to make a balance, we use the visuals in an appropriate manner so that it can serve the purpose. Overall, it was a great speech, and it was a delight for us always listening to him, and we want to listen more from him. Over to you, Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Noreen, for the structural and the language part. Let's request Toastmaster Aisha Lodi. So could you please share your feedback? Toastmaster
Yes,
Aisha, are you
thank
with us?
you. Yes, yes, I am. Thank you, Toastmasters Imran. Um, so about the language evaluation, so I don't really have a form for this, so I'm just gonna tell you all the points that I've noted. Um, I would say that the clarity was a 4. So excels at being clear and wait, let me take out the form. And then the interest levels also 4, and then the gestures 4, and eye contact 5, and the comfort level 4. I think it was a very clear and descriptive speech. The flow was very natural, and I would also say very relatable. It was easy to relate and engage with the speech. The descriptions were engaging and vivid. Yeah. So I've written a few things that could have been better. So DTM Talha, you said that the alarm rings and wake up. It makes me wake up. But I think it would have been better to say the alarm would wake me up. And then there was one other thing. So you said that the machine, that everything I do, this machine is telling me, and then you stop there. But I think it would have been maybe better to say everything I do, this machine is telling me to do, or like this machine is, making me do, or something like that. And then the cars, you said that we take care more of them. Maybe it would have been better to say we take care of them more. Yeah. So yeah, that's all that I could come up with. And I thought it was really like there were some really good points as well, but I couldn't write them all. But one thing that I have written is that the computers are talking to one another and we're just there, pressing our buttons and just consuming rather than, actually interacting with something useful or actually creating anything. So that was really beautiful.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aisha Lodhi. Okay, so fellow Toastmasters and guests, today distinguished Toastmaster Talha delivered a wonderful speech. Uh, I thought that the slavery just, to me, the meanings of the slavery is that if you are an employee to someone else, so you feel like slave. But DTM Talha brought a very good concept that this could also be considered as the slavery. Today we revolve ourselves all we are all the machines are all around us, so we are somehow the slaves, become slaves of those machines. What the good thing in Toastmasters is that uh, it gives you courage and confidence to bring out a message from a very simple topic. Like in your speech, you mentioned some amazing sentences like the world never stops while the phone was constantly working. Uh, and there was one thing that highlight a very important point that we take care more of our precious things than humans. So it was quite inspiring and quite relatable. And the speech was quite relatable to everyone. In the morning, I was teaching my children. Being father, you become, you try to control your nerves, but somehow you cannot. So, but I realized that instead of yelling at them and beating them, why not I should control and compose myself. As if I overreact, it will create a negative impact on them. So um, throughout your speech, you were quite composed and confident. As DTM Era mentioned that you were means speeches like that. The speaker is more concerned on the content, not on the vocal variety. It was so the vocal variety overall was monotonous. There was some places where you could move, you could bring your vocal variety as well. Then Toastmaster Noreen mentioned that uh, your visuals, your picture, your vocal variety was clear. What was missing was the stage movement, utilization of stage. Plus, there was quite distraction behind your screen. Maybe you could deliver the speech with a plain wall, like I am at the moment sitting, and there's nothing, just a clear wall, so that all our attentions towards the speaker, not here and there. Overall, a wonderful speech with a beautiful message that that we human beings are important, and not to be slaves of machines. So just those areas of improvement, the speech could be a very good speech for the contest, for international speech level contest as well. So over to you, Toastmaster Talha, your feedback about overall feedback.
Thank you. Thank you so much, valuable evaluators. Uh, yes, this speech was, of course, uh, done with the intent to possibly try it in the contest, but it was very raw, and I needed all of the evaluators' guidance to improve it because I felt that the idea was strong enough, but I didn't have enough intellectual capability to actually develop it into something compelling. So I must express my gratitude to each and every one of the evaluators who provided me with the valuable guidance to improve it further. So all of that, especially the vocal variety part that needs to be there. I must also admit that I thought about incorporating vocal variety, but I couldn't identify any natural areas where it could be incorporated, which means that the speech needs to change and it needs to involve areas where vocal variety is actually employed. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll implement all the feedback. Over to you, or rather, over to me, Toastmaster of the day. So now we'll quickly move on to our next session. And
Okay, ask Noreen, either
yeah,
make a good food for us, or switch off
we
our
are
camera.
actually getting hungry. We're getting hungry by seeing your kitchen. Okay. So okay, much better. All right. So okay.
Oh, sorry, I just forgot to turn off the video after my speech evaluation part. I'm in the kitchen making dinner for the family.
Yes, we can plain and simple watch that, and we are getting hungry just seeing that. So
Guys are ready to join us for the dinner.
okay. Thank you once again, Toastmaster Noreen. You're always so inspiring. Um, either you go into the kitchen as soon as a Toastmaster meeting starts, or when you go into a kitchen, a Toastmaster meeting starts. So I don't know which one is true, but hats off to your dedication. Hats off to your dedication. The way you evaluated, no one could have guessed that you were doing it in the middle of a cooking session. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Noreen. And now it's time to move on to our next segment. And which is the table topics for which we have a unique format. So inviting our 2024 champion of public speaking and champion of tall tales as well, and a champion speaker herself. Who actually is above all these titles? So one of the founding members of Quantum League, a public speaker, and a lot of other things. Everyone, please put your hands together for our table topics master, Iram this week.
Thank you very much. Quite humbled with the intro. So, our format, it's going to be, by the way, we'll have a short session. Looking at the time, we really wanted to enjoy the keynote today openly. So it's going to be quite quick, probably just trying out 3 topics, but you need to be alert because you will be, when I'll call out your name, you have to evaluate the last speaker who did the table topics. The first speaker, you need to be alert that you would be called in any time for evaluating the last speaker who's going to be. So I'm going to start off with Toastmaster Jahanzeb. Toastmaster Jahanzeb.
Yes, yes.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so Toastmaster Jahanzeb, you have the option to come back to the world as an animal. What animal would it be and why? You have the option to come back to the world as an animal. What animal would it be and why?
Right. Thank you so much for a thought-provoking topic. I would I would become a lion if I have the choice, if I need to come back as an animal. And I would choose lion as an animal which is brave and which does not fear, and it is or the lion is a sign of bravery. That is my thoughts. That is my thinking about being a lion. And we humans use this word so many times in our daily life conversations that become a sher bano. That is something very very thought provoking, and I feel that becoming a lion would would mean that I would become the king of all the animals. So it will bring some power, it will bring some control, it will bring, a lot of time during our lives, we feel hopeless, we feel out of options, and we always fear for our things. And once I become lion, I'll become fearless. I will not have any panic. I will not have any anxiety and stress. And I will roam around where I want, and people will fear from me. So that's the idea of becoming a lion in hypothetical world. Thank you so much. Over to you, DTM Iram.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jahazev. So, Toastmaster Imran Rana, your 30 seconds to evaluate Toastmaster Jahazev.
Okay, so thank you so much,
Welcome.
Toastmaster Jahasir. What I love about your speech was your confidence, and when the topic was assigned, it felt like that uh, the way you were speaking, it was coming from the heart. Being a lion is quite a big thing, and you describe it quite well. Only uh, since you are sitting in a comfortable zone in online, there is no restriction. Just brought up some vocal variety could have create a great impact in your speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. And one of the reasons Toastmaster Jahazev wants to be the lion is not because it's brave, because he can sleep all day and just have an impact. मैं share हूँ. So thank you very much. So the topic for you, Toastmaster Imran Rana, is that Toastmaster Jahazev has come as a lion, and you cannot be any animal from the family of cats. What is the animal that you would like to be, where Toastmaster Jahazev is the lion, so that he can actually be the working king, not just the sleeping one, but you will be taking care of all the commands and be the commando. I can't repeat this.
Okay, is it necessary to be an animal? Means
You
animal
can also
or
be a bird. You can also be a
oh,
bird.
great, great, great. So thank you so much. So we have lion in our meeting, but if I get a chance to come back and become any other species, so I would like to be an owl. We call it ullu in Urdu, and it doesn't mean that ullu. An owl is a wise bird. But why I want to be an owl? Because I always the owl has the capability that he or she can turn his neck to almost 360 or 360 and it revert back. So I always wanted to do like that. So once I become an owl, so the wisdom is all in my head. It was there, but there's one thing which I really wanted to do, that twist my neck to 360 degree so that I could see what happened at my back, what is happening at my back. So that is one of the reason that I would love to be an owl, not Ullu. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran. Toastmaster Aisha Lodi, are you here with us?
Yes.
All right. So, Toastmaster Aisha, your 30 seconds to evaluate Toastmaster Imran's speech.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Iram. I think it was very humorous and very enjoyable. and also very interesting because it's something that I would have never thought of, wanting to look around at a 360 angle, having the ability to do that. Very interesting. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Aisha. Now, Toastmaster Aisha, the topic for you is that you wake up in the morning and you have an option to be any profession, to have any profession in the world. What would you select and why? You wake up in the morning and you have the option to have any profession in the world. What would it be and why?
Right. If I wake up in the morning and I could select any profession, it would be, I can't decide on one thing, but a painter. I would be a painter, an artist, because I think it's one of the most creative works that a person can do. And I feel like I want to create things, and creating gives me joy, it gives me peace, and it makes me feel like I've actually done something and added to the world. So yeah, just creating something. That's what I would choose. Thank you, Toastmaster Iram.
Toastmaster Noreen? All right. So I would like to close the cycle. Toastmaster Jahazeb, can you please evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Aisha?
DTM Iram, I'm sorry, I was on a call during her speech, so I could not listen. My apologies. My apologies. Can you? Yes,
No worries at all.
I can. Yeah, yeah.
DTM Talha, would you like to evaluate Toastmaster Aisha's speech?
Sure. Okay. Toastmaster Aisha, today it was a little bit surprising to hear you being caught off guard with that topic. Not because you couldn't think of anything to say, but perhaps there were too many things to say, and you couldn't decide, and it was clearly visible. So, in such a situation, one advice would be to actually think for a few seconds and then start speaking. That way, you appear more well coordinated. That said, once you chose a profession and you talked about it, we could hear the inspiration in your voice and sincerity in your expression. Congratulations on attending this table topic. This is what the table topics are for. That extempore speaking by its very nature can throw anyone off guard at any point in time. What's important is not that you stumbled a bit in the beginning, but in what's important is how you recovered and made a great table topic out of it. Though one does wish that you would have spoken for a little longer, but overall, great attempt. Over to you, table topics.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha. Toastmaster Jahazib, just a heads up that you will be evaluating DTM Talha's speech. So we will close the cycle then. So DTM Talha, the topic for you is, I'll come back to what I was doing. So you get a chance to come back into the world as a fish. Which one would it be and why?
All right. Coming back as a fish, first of all, I love the sea. I watch all those National Geographic videos, but the videos I watch are more about the underwater world. I'm fascinated by the sea. As for which fish I would want to be, perhaps I would like to be the clownfish. And why would that be? Two reasons or two words. Finding Nemo. Because such a major movie was made on my life, and it also had a sequel and both scored billions and billions of dollars on the box office, I would be receiving royalties for the rest of my life. And that would have been the ultimate dream come true. Not being a lion, because a lion has to hunt. But when you're a fish, the food floats to you. And thanks to the royalties and the riches, I wouldn't have to work a single day in my life. So if I were a fish, I would have loved to be a clownfish, to have a starring role in Finding Nemo, and be a household name. Because isn't that what we all wish for? Even if it does mean that you have to be a clown. Over to you, Tabletop Master.
Wonderful. Toastmaster Jahazib, your 30 seconds evaluation of DTM Talha's speech.
Right, thank you so much. And DTM Tala is an inspiration for many, many Toastmasters. He's so confident. And even on the spot topic, he gave us so many, like to me, it was new information about that particular fish. So amazing knowledge, amazing way of, controlling or tackling difficult topics. That is something, boss. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, and brilliant attempts by everyone. Thank you for being great sport. One of the things that we do in our club is the different model of evaluation while doing table topics, and everybody gets a chance to evaluate a table topic so that everyone is a speaker somewhere or the other, and everyone tries to use their listening skills. So closing up, signing off, thank you very much. Over to the Toastmaster of the day, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Madam President, for a wonderful table topic session. Today, it was admittedly much harder to answer the topics. So, one can count on DTM on coming up with topics with just the right amount of challenge to the speakers, which is, after all, what an advanced club is all about. So, thank you so much. Floating the poll for the best table topic speaker, and in the meantime, let's hand over the charge to our last role player of the day, our journal evaluator, Toastmaster Jahazib Shah. So, Toastmaster Jahazib, over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, everyone. So it is time for the general evaluation segment. And before it's starting my evaluation in general, I would like to call upon the role holders to present their reports. So first of all, I would like to start with our language evaluator, which is Toastmaster Imran Rana. So I would like to invite Toastmaster Imran for his report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Up till now, I didn't find any errors, but when you just introduced me about my role, I think for person we should use who instead of which. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Anyone can correct it. Rest word of the day was imperfection, and unfortunately, in this imperfect world, nobody used that in the word imperfect in the speeches. Not even myself. Over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran. And our timer for today has been DTM Talha bin Hamid. So DTM Talha, can you please come forward and present your report?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jahazib Shah. We started about 10 minutes late, which is something we all need to work upon. And I understand that the time of the meeting is a little bit awkward, so perhaps we can tweak it a little bit. That said, the keynote speaker, originally they were allotted 35 minutes, but they took a few minutes for that. But in the end, it was a net profit because we did not have the Q&A. So it all worked out for the better. I think we were, for the entire session, we were over 2 or 3 minutes, not more than that. The prepared speaker, the evaluator, all the modular evaluators were well within time as well. And the table topic session, for the table topics, all the speakers, table topic speakers were also within time. Although the evaluators, some of the evaluators did take more than 30 seconds, which I think is pretty much par for the course because we allow 30 seconds case speed. period for any Toastmaster board. So that brings an end to my report. Right now, as we speak, we are about 10 minutes behind time, which is perfectly fine, given that we started 10 minutes late. So over to you, General Well.
Right. Thank you so much, DTM Talha. I understand we had only two role holders, special role holders. So, as a general evaluation, I would like to conclude my report as this is an advanced Toastmasters club. So we had a special keynote session, and Quantum Leap is renowned for our variety of the matter we bring every meeting. So this was an amazing effort and touching on the critical topic of stress and panic and anxiety, which is or the mental health issues. It is a great effort to touching the base of the current dilemma of addressing to the mental health issues and speaking about them, because a lot of people, they shy away expressing their mental health problems. So this is a very important this has been a very important topic and effort. uh, Wonderful session. And the Q&As, we could not do it, but the segment was very interactive. So we had already discussed our techniques and concerns. So it was an interactive engagement. And then we went to the prepared speech segment, where DTM Tala presented his speech, and the speech was again very much important in today's world, because it touched down on a very important topic of being so materialistic and disconnecting from the people relations. So that was an important topic. And the advanced evaluation, it again highlighted all the varying different aspects of prepared speech. Table topics, it was an amazing and very difficult or unique type of session, and it gave challenge to everyone, and everyone performed really well. So all in all, it has been an imperfect or it has been a perfect meeting. And I feel good about being part of this meeting. So that is all from my side. Thank you so much. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gandhesha. So now concluding the meeting, everyone please vote for your favorite major role player. And concluding theme of the meeting, today we learned through the keynote, as Toastmaster Jahadev pointed out. I think one unique thing about Toastmaster Rama's keynote is that she did ask us to be vulnerable, but she displayed vulnerability herself first. And I think that's what put us all at ease. And all of that, leads me to think that she must be scarily good at her job as hypnotherapist. Thank God that she didn't try any hypnotherapy on us, because we would have fallen hook, line, and sinker for that. So, with that, of course, we bring this meeting to the agenda to an end and hand over the charge to the acting president. Emphasis on acting. Oh, sorry.
To
So,
the president.
yeah, to the actual president. It's such a. I've gotten so used to handing over the acting president.
I'm so sorry.
Now we have the real president today.
यार डीटीएम तला, ये आपने ना धो के मारा है मुझे भी. Very smart, very smart. Thank you
I did
very
not
much.
intend.
No.
No.
Thank you very much for doing this. And always thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran and DTM Talha. Toastmaster Imran, you need to get DER in the beginning. I'm getting muh pe aake ruk jata hai. So for always covering up and understanding that Saturdays have become tough for me. And thank you so much for taking up role whenever possible. So brilliant meeting. Sorry, my son is just with me, so I can't switch on the video. And I really like the way how things are handled. There's a lot of quality in Quantum Leap. I'm very proud of the fact that we really haven't really been worried about how many people come or how repeated the roles are. The practice is important. This is a gym. It doesn't matter if you're gymming alone or if you're gymming with a group. And I love the way how the quality has always been maintained. The keynote speech was far ahead today. Beautiful. And I think I was ready to even skip table topics if the Q&A was coming in. And I would highly recommend that if we could get some questions on for Toastmaster Rahma, and we can just have a Q&A with her. One of the sessions probably after few meetings, which is Q&A, and we ask her questions, what can we do for certain level of stress, and then let her have 2 to 3 minutes for that exercise for us. So it's more of like a keynote with the activity and an active discussion rather than just one person speaking for 30 minutes, because we really wanted more of that, and we have a base with her right now, so we would want that to be more activity based. So let's see if the VP Education would like to think over that. So I would now like to hand the charge to the acting president to share the winners and close the meeting, because जिसने बिस्मिल्लाह किया वही सदाकल्लाहुल अज़ीम करे तो अच्छा लगता है. So over to you, Toastmaster Imran Rana.
The way you read Sadaqullah Azim, it seems like means you have good command over Arabic as well.
That's my Dubai thing came in in the middle.
Okay. So I've done a lot of acting. Please share the result, Tala.
Okay. Thank you everyone for voting for me for best table topics. And as for best major role play, it went to DTM Iram, our table topics master. Best speaker, of course, by default went to me. And the lesson in that for everyone, especially the members, is please take up speaking roles. Otherwise, the only speaker who will qualify within time will be officially best speaker, no matter how pathetic the speech itself was. Same goes for best evaluator, Toastmaster Imran Rana. Over to you, Mr. Brev.
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking our time for such a wonderful meeting. We have great learning about how to control stress, and a very thought-provoking message by DTM Talha that things are not important, people are, and a wonderful table topic session by DTM Iram. Although my table topic speech was quite good, somehow Talha won. So thank you, sir. It was quite crisp. It was quite an interactive meeting, I must say, and it was quite helpful for everyone. So looking forward to you all to the same at the same time. Might be possible we may have the tall tale speech contest. So everyone, please be ready. Although you want to, it's good to participate. Whether you want to go from this division or division C or some other division, it doesn't make any difference. But I request everyone to please let's have a healthy competition. So I look forward everyone for their participations. Myself cannot compete because I've already served as the chief judge in Karachi Toastmasters Club in Tortale, so I can easily encourage everyone to please participate. So let's have the Tortale contest in our next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you, everyone.
Iram, you are also
Yes.
participating. I want you to give a tough time to Talha.
Let's see. Thank you.
And Jahazeb, you are also. Okay, great. Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care, guys.
Take
Have a
care.
great weekend.
Hafiz.
Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.
Special thanks to Toastmaster Aisha Lodi for participating and adding life and color. Thank you so much. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you, Toastmaster Talha. Thank you.